All the spiritual masters are gonna tell that person that everything that you have done is a waste. Nothing that you're doing in your spiritual practice is actually what you were meant to be doing. There's someone in my life who is supposed to be doing all the right religious things, but yet they're mentally abusing me. Why aren't they able to understand the difference? And the related question is, what is the difference between being spiritual and being religious? Ideally, there should be no difference between being religious and being spiritual. They should be exactly the same thing. But the fact of the matter is that there are far too many people who think they're being religious. And by religious, what they do is they do all the right things. From the outside, it looks like they're doing the right thing. They wear the religious clothes. They read the religious scriptures. They do religious actions. But there's very little room for them to change who they are, for them to impact the personality, for them to change their very understanding of themselves. And ultimately, all spiritual traditions are trying to do one thing, which is to reduce your sense of self-worth and self-importance, and to try and reframe your understanding to understand that there is a bigger picture going on. You are not this limited version of yourself. You are this more expanded version of yourself. Call that God, call it connected, call it whatever it is that you're comfortable with. The spiritual person is one who understands that all of my practices are to get me into a different understanding of myself. The spiritual person understands that I become different, not just in my actions, not just in my words, not just in what I say or do or what I pretend or show to the world, but really in my own experience of myself. I am different. I am no longer this limited version of myself. I am free. I am not going to look down on other people. I'm not going to bind myself into one group of people, but I'm going to understand that we're all connected. So the religious people, the ones who are practicing the religion, really use it as a way to cement their ego, to say that I belong to this group. It really becomes another layer of the ego that they add on that says, I am now belonging to this group, these are the things that I do. So religion, if it's not practiced properly, actually ends up doing more damage than harm. And this is the example of your husband who is mentally abusing you, but is supposed to be a very religious person. He's not a religious person. That is not what religion is. No spiritual master is going to congratulate him for all the prayers that he's reading or all the religious actions or the clothes that he's wearing. All the spiritual masters are going to tell that person that everything that you have done is a waste. Nothing that you're doing in your spiritual practice is actually what you were meant to be doing. Because the spiritual practice, the religious practice, was about you freeing yourself from this ego-based identity. And you've used religion not only to add to your ego, but to give you a superiority complex where you think you're better than somebody else. You think that you can look down on someone else. You think that you are now somehow have a golden ticket to heaven just because you do some religious actions and you're now the chosen one. And that's the opposite of the way that you need to think. The way that you need to think is you become more humble. You become more loving. You do not bind yourself to one group, but you recognize the oneness in all of humanity, in all of creation. You see love for everyone. You see oneness in everyone. That's what spirituality does. That's what religion is trying to do. And most people who practice religion wrong do not understand what they're trying to do. They simply see themselves as being the same. They don't change their ego. They simply just hold on to their ego and they add more onto it.